in the sprawling, rain-slicked streets of a city that never sleeps. Elias was a ghost. Once a celebrated architect, his dreams had crumbled like the old buildings he used to sketch. Now he haunted the neon-drenched alleyways, his world a monochrome blur of regret and what-ifs. The vibrant lights of the city, once a source of inspiration, now felt like a cruel mockery of the color that had drained from his life. He was a man lost in the labyrinth of his own past, each corner he turned leading him back to the same dead end of sorrow. One night, huddled in the shadow of a monolithic skyscraper he had once dreamed of designing, a flicker of light caught his eye. It wasn't the aggressive pulse of an advertisement or the cold glow of a street lamp. It was something different, soft, ethereal, and impossibly warm. From a cascade of shimmering data streams and holographic advertisements, a figure began to coalesce. She was made of light, a girl woven from the city's neon soul. Her hair was a river of cyan and magenta, her eyes twin pulsars of brilliant white. She wasn't solid, yet she was undeniably there, her form rippling like a heat haze in the cool night air. Elias blinked, convinced it was a hallucination, a product of exhaustion and despair. But she moved closer, her feet hovering just above the damp pavement, leaving no reflection in the puddles. She smiled, and the light she was made of seemed to brighten, pushing back the oppressive darkness. "You're lost, aren't you?" Her voice was not a sound, but a feeling, a melody that resonated directly in his mind, not in the city, but in time. Elias, speechless, could only stare. This creature of light, this neon spirit, was the most beautiful and impossible thing he had ever seen. He tried to speak, but the words were caught in his throat. She introduced herself as Lyra, a guardian of the city's lines of destiny. She explained that every person's life was a thread of light, weaving through time and space. Some threads shone brightly, others were tangled, and some, like his, had grown dim. "Your line is frayed, Elias," she conveyed, her light form pulsing with empathy. "You've been holding onto a broken strand for too long." She extended a hand made of pure energy. Hesitantly, he reached out. His fingers passed through hers as if through smoke, but he felt a jolt, a current of warmth that spread through his entire being. It was the first thing he had truly felt in years. Lyra showed him visions within her light. She showed him his own past, not as a source of pain, but as a series of choices. She showed him the blueprint of the skyscraper, the joy on his face as he'd first drawn it. Then she showed him the day the project was cancelled, the moment his thread had begun to unravel. He saw himself turning away from friends, from family, from every opportunity to start again. Destiny isn't a single road. Lyra's thought voice was gentle but firm. It's a network of paths, a web of light. You chose this one, the path of shadow. But there are other lines waiting for you. She began to move, floating down the street, beckoning him to follow. He felt a pull, a curiosity he hadn't experienced since his youth. He got to his feet and followed the neon girl. She led him through the city, but it was a city he had never seen before. She pointed out the patterns in the chaos, the way the flow of traffic created rivers of light, the way the windows of distant apartments blinked like constellations. She showed him the lines of destiny she spoke of, faint threads of color that connected people and places. He saw a lonely musician playing a saxophone on a street corner. His music, a thread of deep blue that reached out and momentarily touched the golden thread of a passing woman who smiled at the melody. Lyra led him to a dilapidated community center, a place he had passed 1,000 times without a second glance. Inside, a group of kids were trying to draw on a wall with broken chalk. Their lines were clumsy, but full of life. Lyra's light illuminated their hopeful faces. "They have dreams," she communicated, "but they lack a guide. Their lines are bright, but they need someone to show them how to weave." She turned her luminous gaze to him. "You know how to build, Elias. You know how to create. You can be their guide." Elias looked at the children, then at his own hands. These hands that had once designed towers now felt clumsy and useless. But as he watched a young girl struggle to draw a straight line, something stirred within him. He remembered the feeling of a pencil in his hand, the satisfaction of creating form from nothing. He walked over, picked up a piece of chalk, and with a hesitant hand, drew a perfect straight line next to the girl's wavering one. She looked up at him, her eyes wide with wonder. He then sketched a simple house, then a tree, then a bridge. The other children gathered around, their faces alight with fascination. For the first time in years, Elias wasn't thinking about his failures. He was teaching, he was sharing, he was creating. Lyra watched from the corner, her form a soft, approving glow. As the night wore on, Elias taught the children about perspective, about shading, about turning simple lines into worlds. He felt a purpose igniting within him, a flicker of the old fire. He was connecting, not just with the children, but with a part of himself he thought was long dead. His own line of destiny, once so dim, began to glow with a soft, steady light. When dawn began to break, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the children were tired but happy. Their section of the wall, now a vibrant mural of a fantasy city. Elias stood back, his heart full. He turned to thank Lyra, but she was already beginning to fade, her neon form dissolving back into the morning light. "The lines are in your hands now." Her voice echoed in his mind, a final fading melody. "Weave them well." Elias looked at the mural, then at the rising sun. The city no longer felt like a prison of concrete and steel. It was a canvas, a place of infinite possibility. His journey through the darkness was over. Guided by a spirit made of neon light, he had found his way back, not to the man he was, but to the man he could still become. He had found a new line of destiny, not one of grandiose towers, but one built from small acts of guidance and the rekindled hope of a broken man. He picked up another piece of chalk, a smile gracing his lips. He was an architect again, and he had a new world to build. Thanks for watching our story unfold. If it moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of hope and transformation. Until next time, keep looking for the light.